Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Here we are. It's the Sabbath day. Another opportunity to come before the Most High. We want to wish everybody a Shar Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. For the brothers and sisters who are traveling to the school or observing online, we say Shalom and we pray for you. All right. We first and foremost want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadash, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus. All right. And a double honors to the elders and leaders of the house of David. We say Shalom and we salute you. To the brothers who are heading out to the highways and byways and the camps teaching in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, we salute you. We say Shalom on the Shabbat day today. And my name is Ainwa, and the title of my class is The Wisdom is Leaving Teman. All right, we're going to bring out some great videos today. We see that the prophecies are coming by and flying by weekly now, day to day, right? It's not tearing anymore. You can see the lineup spiritually of what we call, or what's so-called the Third World War, right? We see that shaping up and we see that lining up. Okay? My name is Captain Ainwan. We're just going to start with, actually, let's do this. We're gonna take a look at Teman and Idumea, right? We're gonna dig into it a little bit and see what's going on and just shed some light on these particular places and nations of people, right? And correlate that to what's going on today as we see the prophecy shape up here around the world and so-called America. All right. Now, the first thing I want to do, this is standard, right? The Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. We're going to take a look at the definition of Teman. So let me get it. I'm going to have you read it, brother. All right. Before we start. All right. If you would, please, brother. Yeah, let me give it to you. This is the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, everybody. Should have one of these. Obviously, a lot of information in there. And Teman is right there at the top. So we're just going to go through some of the meanings of what Teman is and what it means. All right. Go ahead. When you got that, brother. Dwada.
Reading the word called Teman, it says, on the right, on the right toward the south, grandson of Esau.
Grandson of Esau. Okay, so we know it's a person. Okay, go ahead.
Genesis 36:11 through 15. An Edomite chief.
An Edomite chief, person. Go ahead, read on.
Genesis 36:42. A city in northeastern Edom.
Right, so it's also a city in northeastern Edom. Right, and just like Israel is a person and a place, so is the nation of Edom, right? A person and a place. And we're going to get some of those definitions or some of those scriptures, and we're going to prove that. All right, so let's start with, and throughout for that, that's it. Okay. On that, just want to read that out of the Zondervan, right? A lot of good information in here to refer to, and most of us have this. This is 101, Israelite 101 starter pack, right? That should be in there. Let's get Jeremiah 49:7.
That's good.
Right? Go ahead. When you got
in that book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom.
Concerning Edom. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Most High of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman?
So the Most High is asking, is there no more wisdom in Teman? Right? And again, we know that Teman, based on the Zondervan, is a person and also a place, right? And we're going to prove that. We're going to hit some scriptures on that. So the Most High is asking, this is the Most High's declaration, the Most High's message against Edom, right? Go ahead.
Is counsel perished from the prudent?
Has their counsel perished? Their wisdom perished? Go ahead.
Is their wisdom vanished?
Has their wisdom vanished? All right. And again, Edom is a person, also a place, right? Edom, south of Ammon and Moab, competed with Israel for territory and independence over in that original ancient land at one point in time, right? They competed with Israel for territory and independence and also sovereignty, okay? East of Judah, or southeast of Judah, rather, and you have Petra, you have Basra, all over in that original territory and land south of Judah. So we always competed and/or went up against Esau, Edom, right? And that's what nations do, right? Nations, they eventually have to decide what the territory is, right? And the Most High gives the territory. We know that. The Most High established the territory. But you got to, in some cases, go take that territory, right? The Most High said he's a man of war. So you're going to have to war, right? And what are these nations fighting over today? They're fighting over territory, independence, and sovereignty. All right? We're going to get that definition of what sovereignty is, okay? Geopolitics, that all plays into it, right? So we've been at odds with one particular nation, right, since the beginning, and it's not going to change, right? And we know that the Most High is a man of war. All right. Let's get Genesis chapter 36 and verse 1.
In our book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom, right? And you can read verse 2. Go ahead.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Abominable, Adholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zebion, the Hivite.
Right? So, Canaanites, right? Jump to verse 11.
Verse 11. And the sons of Eliphaz.
No, Slakia, verse 12. You can read 11, Slakia.
Okay. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman.
Were who?
Were Teman.
And that's a person and also a place that we just read in Jeremiah 49. Okay, go ahead.
Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz.
Go ahead, read verse 12.
And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
There's Amalek's on the scene. All right, go ahead.
These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife.
All right, stop right there. Jump to verse 15. All right, and we're just going through some of the lineage, right? And again, some of these places were named after people, okay? So we know that just like Israel, again, I'll reiterate this, that Israel is a place and also a people first before a place, right? And through Esau, you got Amalek, right? Go ahead, read what I tell you to read. 15, read verse 15.
Yeah, verse 15. These were dukes of the sons of Esau.
Now, this is a specific thing when it says these were the dukes, and I just added this scripture to point out when we read about kingdomship, and you have the dukes and the duchesses. Esau started all of that, right? They're the only people who call themselves dukes and duchesses, right? It's Esau. And recall I did a class on that. I think it was about the passing of when Queen Elizabeth passed, and Prince Charles, he was coming into the rulership as a king, right? We went over that. You went over that and pointed out the dukes and the duchesses. And that's how they diced themselves up in their kingdomship and rulership, calling themselves dukes and duchesses, right? So that's where you get all of that from, all right? Drop that. and go back to Jeremiah 49 and 7.
In that book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. Go 7 again?
Yep, read 7 again.
Yep, verse 7. Concerning Esau.
Uh-huh.
Thus
Concerning
said-
Edom.
Pardon me. Concerning Edom. Thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman?
Is wisdom no more in Teman? And to set the scene for you, the context of Jeremiah 49 and 7, he's talking about the city of Teman, not the person who we read, the people we read, the descendants we read back in Genesis, right? Go ahead.
Is counsel perished
Is counsel perished?
from
Go
the
ahead.
prudent?
Uh-huh.
Is their wisdom vanished?
Has their wisdom vanished, right? And if we bring it up to speed today, and we're going to play some videos, right? As the prophecies continue to unfold, wisdom, spiritually, metaphorically, is leaving Teman, right? Here in the United States. And we've talked about the current state of the presidency, the leadership, the rulership, the hills, the mountains, the derision right here in America, which is supposed to be the beacon of light to the rest of the world. But we can see that division coming upon us now. We see the division at the highest heights of their government, right? We see the wars, the rumors of wars, and the decisions that they're making. So now they're backtracking on their own rules. They're breaking their own rules and laws, right? And this is how you can see the division, the derision, and the crumbling of a nation. And it always happens, right, from within. And we have plenty of videos. Elder Ben went into the rulership, the 250-year rulership of America, and how long kingdoms rule, right? And America is rolling up on their expiration date, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, okay? There's nothing you're going to do you're not going to vote your way out, right? You're not going to protest your way out. You're not going to elect someone over you the way you're on the way out, right? And you got to be okay with this, because this is the overall solution and the goal for the Most High to deliver Israel. This is how you get out of the hell that we're in day to day on every form and fashion, and what they're pushing, right? America and the world's wisdom, right? And all the things that's against the Most High that's going on in this place today, the unrighteousness, as we push back into our righteousness, we come back to who we are, right? Come back to our sovereignty, okay? And go ahead, read verse 8 for me. Or no, actually, from there, let's go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Okay, and this is just a quick scripture that I wanted to point out.
In that book of Ecclesiastes,
Yep.
chapter 1, verse 9.
And these are simple scriptures here.
The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there's no thing, there's no new thing under the sun.
And there is no new thing under the sun. Going back to Genesis. There is no new thing under the sun. There's nothing new that's happening under this sun, right? It's just that we're seeing these things for the first time in this age, in this specific space and time, okay? But there's nothing new under the sun. You've always been at odds against all these other nations, right, that have a problem with you because you didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And that's what the Most High wanted us. That's why the Most High called us a wise and understanding people, right? But what do? We forsook the Most High's laws, right? And what happens when you do that? You got to be put on punishment. You get put on timeout until you understand the severity of how we actually affect the world, right? And if you notice, Israelites, we affect the world on the left-hand side tremendously through sports, entertainment, our culture, a great, vibrant people who seems to love everybody when everybody hates your guts, right? It's ridiculous. All the nations want to be just like us, and we say it all the time, want to be like us in our wickedness, right? But wait until we get back into our righteousness, the fulfillment of who we're really supposed to be in this earth, right? Our condition is going to be drastically better at that point in time, and that's what the kingdom is going to be about, righteousness, right? An establishment of true righteous judgment and order, okay? Read on.
So verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything whereof it may be said, see this is new?
Check this out. Is this new? Under the sun? No. Go ahead.
See this is new. It hath been already of old time.
So these things are of old times. It's just reshaped, formed, and fashioned, and then represented, right? And this is why we're in this dispensation of time. But the Most High gave us back the spirit of who we're supposed to be, right? Because the Most High turned his face from us, right? We disconnected from the Most High, lost our heritage, Jeremiah 17, right? And you ended up over here scratching and scraping on the bottom, and you're the greatest nation in the world. And we have to come back to that, come back to who we are, right? That's the only way you're going to be able to enjoy this earth, enjoy your family, and enjoy your time the way the Most High set it up to be, right? But there's got to be some changes made first, and this is why the brothers and sisters who the Most High is putting his spirit on right on time, we're turning back one by one to our nationality, right? Because the way this world is going is getting ready to train wreck, right? And we know that through the scriptures and the prophecies that that's where we're headed. It's just depending upon what side you want to be on and what role you want to play, right? And if you don't want to adhere to the law, statutes, or commandments and answer the call, then you're going to be collateral damage. But the train wreck is going to happen, right? And I'm not teaching this particular class. I teach different classes. I'm not teaching this to fear monger or war monger or anything like that. But this is what the Bible says, and this is what the pastors and the preachers aren't teaching in church, right? So how are these people getting ready for what's coming upon the earth, right? You gotta adhere to the scriptures. You got to study, you got to be in prayer, and you got to have faith. All right? So get 1 Chronicles 1:35, Baba Gushah.
Our book of Chronicles, 1 Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 35. The sons of Esau.
The sons of Esau. Again, this is going back, right? Go ahead.
Eliphaz, Ruel, Jush, and Jalem, and Korah.
Yep, go ahead, read 36.
The sons of Eliphaz, Teman.
There it is again, Teman, which is a person also, a city, right? Go ahead.
And Omar, Zephi, and Gatam, and Kenaz, and Timnah, and Amalek.
And Amalek. Now, we're not going to go all the way down through the lineage, but I just wanted to show you where the lineage starts from, okay, and how it kind of rolls down to all these nations and who they've become to this very day, right? Just to touch on it a little bit. So from there, let's go back to Jeremiah 49, and where were we at? 8?
Oh, yes, sir, yep. Read that book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 8. Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I, the Most High, will bring the calamity of Esau up on him.
So the Most High is going to bring that calamity of Esau, right? Go ahead.
The time that I, the Most High, will visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes?
So if the grape gatherers, right, the people who actually gather up the grapes to make wine, right, to actually gather the fruit, would they not leave some for the poor? Right? Go ahead.
If thieves by night will destroy till they have enough.
And if thieves came and stole these grapes, this is a parable, right? They will also leave some. They will also leave some as well, right? Go ahead.
But I have made Esau bare.
So the Most High is going to pick Esau clean, right? And also this goes into Esau when he robs and spoils. He takes everything. He doesn't want to leave anything for anybody, right? So read that back.
Yep.
Read 9 again.
Yep. Reading verse 9. Jeremiah 4:49, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
If the grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes?
So if the grape gatherers come, would they not leave something for some people? Would they not have enough and then leave some, right, for the other nations to at least get by on? Because Esau, he wants to gather and has gathered everything, all the riches unto himself, right? And that's why, and just like Elder Ben brought it out last week with what we were looking at, the prophecies that came about last week, and you have what was that, the three remaining survivors of Tulsa, Black Wall Street, right? One of the gentlemen passed, and there were two left, and they said, "No, you're not getting anything." Yet they're sending billions upon billions of dollars over to Ukraine, and this is why the Most High is great, because I got a video where one of those senators, Lindsey Graham, he comes out and says why they're over there in Ukraine. He comes out and just says it. And you think it's there for the people to protect sovereignty, to protect, to have peace, right? No, that's not why they're over there. We're going to show you. We're going to show you what the senator said. And one thing you got to note and understand, the people who are sending people to war, it starts with the Senate and the House. So you're going to be able to lay eyes on the people who are sending people literally to go to these front lines. And that's how it's always been here in America, right? So read 9 again.
Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
If the grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes?
Mm-hmm. So if the grape gatherers come, would they not even leave some after they take their bushels? Leave some for the people? Go ahead.
If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough.
Mm-hmm. And at least the thieves would leave some until they had enough. They get their fill, or they leave some for some people, right? But Esau, he's going to pick everything clean, right, and heap all the riches and treasures unto himself. And that's why the Most High is going to pick him clean in these last days, right? Go ahead.
But I, the Most High, have made Esau bare.
And the Most High is going to make Esau bare again in these last days. And this is what was going on in Babylon, in the city of Teman at that point in time, in Edom, right? Go ahead.
I, the Most High, have uncovered his secret places.
And the Most High is uncovering his secret places. And we know that their leaders, their rulers, right? They meditate wickedness on their bed. So when these, and as we roll the video, you'll see that these senators, they're not hiding no more. They're anxious, they're uptight, they're ready for war, right? And it's all a part of the Most High setup. Go ahead.
And he shall not be able to hide himself.
So he's not going to be able to hide his hand anymore. He's going to come out and say it, right? Or come out and do it, right? You see Trump's behavior. You see how he just comes out and does things and says things, right? So the wisdom is leaving Teman because of their frustration, their anger, and how they view that they're losing a handle in these last days. And it's all through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The vibration of this word that's going out, that's being proclaimed in this day of the Most High, right? The day of our power, June 21st, 22nd, right? 2024, so-called, right? We are proclaiming this day of the Most High, and we're backing it with faith, with scripture, and this is why that vibration is going out, and they have to do their job on the left-hand side, because that vibration in the Most High's word and the Most High is forcing them to, okay? It's all in the same circle, okay? They have their job and we have our job, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Okay, and again, this is for your sovereignty and your salvation, right? And for your independence. Go ahead.
His seed is spoiled.
So his seed is spoiled. The wisdom is leaving. Okay, right? When was America at its height, at its best? It was in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. A great thriving nation, right? Slavery, Jim Crow, everything to keep you down the way they want to, right? And they can't do that anymore, and it's frustrating them, right? That's why America's not as great as it used to be, because they can't have you under their boot the way they want you to anymore, and all the laws are changing, right? And everything that's going on with the alphabets and everything like that, right? And that's part of it, okay? The wisdom of Teman is leaving. That's why you have America in derision. Okay, go ahead.
And his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not.
Go ahead.
Leave thy fatherless children, and I, the Most High, will preserve them alive. And let thy widows trust in me. For thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken.
So we've drunken that cup, right? We had to drink it the hard way, right? Because we didn't want to follow the law, statutes, or commandments as a nation of people. So we drank the cup, and they also forwarded the affliction. Every drop, right? And what do you have when you have a cup of something and you got the dredges and the chalky bottom of it? The Most High said, you're going to drink the whole cup of this thing, right? So read that back again, verse 12.
Verse 12, out of Jeremiah 49, verse 12. But thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup.
So our judgment originally was not to drink of the cup. We were supposed to be the head and not the tail, right? We didn't see the cup coming, but the cup was passed, right? And here you are today, drinking the cup, right? And it's a bitter drink, right? Go ahead.
Have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished.
So read that back all the way through, because the Most High said, you're not going to go altogether unpunished either, right? So though my people have drinking this cup, you're not going to get away with what you think you've been getting away with in this earth. Read that back again, Baba Kushab.
Yes, sir. For thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished. Thou shalt not go unpunished.
So they're not going to go unpunished. The other nations aren't going to go unpunished for what they've done to these little ones, the children of Israel, right? So that recompense is coming, because salvation is only going to come through who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus. That's where your salvation is coming from, and it's coming from the east, right? So when we hear the wars, the rumors of wars, we see, some of the things that are happening with the geopolitics, right? This is the shape up, right? This is the gathering of the nations, right? And a lot of stuff is happening on this world platform, a lot of movement, a lot of changes, right? And it's happening on a day-to-day basis. All praises, hallelujah, right? And America's terrified. Okay, go ahead.
But thou shalt surely drink of it. Verse 13. For I, the Most High, have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Bajra.
That who?
But that Bajra.
Over in the land of Edom, the original land. Go ahead.
Shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse.
And it's going to turn back, right? Go ahead.
And all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste.
All right, jump to verse 15.
Verse 15 of Jeremiah 49. For lo, I, the Most High, will make thee small among the heathen, and despise among men.
There you go. That's self-explanatory, right? This particular nation, the Most High said, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. And look at what we have today, right? They're being despised. The Western world is being despised. Edom is despised pretty much in all the lands. Go ahead.
Their terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart.
The terribleness have deceived thee, right? So their terribleness and their pride is deception unto them, right? Go ahead.
O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock.
And that was their original living room, the clefts of the rocks. When you look at these high rises, and they like to live on the the 137th floor. And some of these, you go to Manhattan, they got those new high rises that literally they sway by Central Park, penthouses, and you can look down. That's terrifying. I wouldn't want to stay up there like that on the 147th floor, 85th floor. And when the high gust of wind comes through, you can feel it swaying a little bit. No way. Not at all. Go ahead.
The holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle.
And that's going back to when they wanted to go to space and go to the moon, launch satellites. NASA, the Eagle has landed, right? And also there's and stay tuned, there's a show coming out on Netflix. It's going to cover the lies they were telling when they landed on the moon. They finally telling that now, right? They finally bringing that information out now that they did not land on the moon. At first it was conspiracy. It's un-American. How could you say that? They did land on the moon. But now Netflix, they coming out with it. They didn't go to the moon. They're showing it. They never went to the moon. Esau's crafty, and they're going to show you how I saw the preview of it. I said, oh, all praises. They're finally being made bare. They told you, how long did you believe that they went to the moon? Or they told us that, right? Told everybody that they were the space race and all that. And all the deceptions and lies they put into making people believe at the highest level of government that they went and landed on the moon. And then Nixon was speaking to one of the astronauts from a landline. Yo, you made it? How's it going? From the moon. You're speaking to somebody on the moon from a plug-in phone. You can barely get reception under a tunnel or in some places. How are you calling the moon? Right? So when even the conspiracy theorists, right? And they said these people were crazy or full of it. It's unpatriotic. And now Esau's telling us something on the South. I forgot what it's called, but it's coming on Netflix. They didn't go to the moon. Right? And I'm going to watch it. It's going to be a good one. Read on.
I, the Most High, will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord Yahweh.
Go ahead. Read on.
Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
All right, so there's an impending doom and judgment for the places and the chief places of Edom in this earth, right? And we can see the gathering storm now. And the prophecies are coming every day. They're speeding up, all right? Go to Isaiah 47:1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
So the Most High is saying this time, and this is that spiritual Babylon, which is America, right? He already threw down the original Babylon, ancient Babylon, but spiritual Babylon, go ahead.
O virgin, sit on the ground. There is no throne.
O virgin daughter of Babylon, right? America's never been touched, hasn't been to war, no calamities has came over on this side yet, right? The chief land of confusion is right here in America, right? Look at all of these policies. They're breaking all their own laws now, right? We go through it week over week. You can't help but to cover these prophecies every week. Because it's speeding up. And like Ben was saying, there's going to be a debate with Trump and Joe Biden coming up. That's going to be an interesting discussion. Go ahead.
Sit on the ground.
So it's time to sit in the dust. Go ahead.
There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
So the tenderness and delicateness and the dainties of America is starting to go in reverse now, right? The elites are starting to be exposed now. And this is why, like we were talking about, like we spoke about last week, when Iran dropped that petrodollar, That's where the problem started for America, right? That's where the problem started overnight. It sped up. It was already, we got inflation. We got all that here. It's not going to stop. But once those Saudis, and you see, like I said, the rest of the world, they're starting to turn their back on America. And we're going to get into the Putin and the Kim Jong-un meeting. And that, America's terrified by that because the sides are being chosen now in plain sight, right? And America, what is America saying? What are y'all doing going over there with them? Wait a minute now. You're not supposed to be in collusion with them, right? You're not supposed to be happy and look good and great together as a nation and getting along. Wait a minute. It's terrifying to America, right? Go ahead.
Take the milestones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg.
So that's what's happening now is the leg is being made bare. America's Babylon the Great, she's being made bare. The lies are coming out, right? And truth is beginning to outweigh the lies now, right? So here it is, you have the lies are heavier, but as we continue to go on and the division and derisions are happening, it's balancing out, and essentially righteousness and truth is going to overcome these lies. And this is why the nations are angry, right? And if you look at also, and you got to pay attention to these things because this is what's happening around us every day. And I think one of the videos that we're going to show here, one of the guys says it like only America and Americans don't have an idea of what's going on. They're asleep at the wheel. They're continuing on their day to day like everything is going to be all right. But little do they know, the rest of the world, they know what's going on. Right? Look it up. Germany, they already kicked in their draft. They know what time it is. They started their draft already, or they're starting to their draft process. Look it up. Germany's already starting. They know what's going on around us. All right. The rest of these worlds, the nations know, okay, this is the feeling. It's getting down to the wire. But America, we go on. People are focused on, the alphabets right now, and the weather's great, which is great. This is fine, but there has to be a continuation of the political process and steps so this thing continues to crumble, and you got to be watching for it because the Most High said so. So while everybody else is outside the door and not observing the Sabbath, they're continuing on. They don't care. It's a great day. The barbecues are going on, beers and blunts. It's going to be some, like Ben says, it's going to be some slow singing here in America. Real soon. There's going to be some slow singing, right? Continue on.
Uncover the locks.
So uncover the locks. Go ahead.
Make bare the leg.
Make bare the leg. Let's see your secret parts. Because the world wants answers now. China wants answers. Russia wants answers. North Korea wants answers. They just dropped the petrodollar over in Saudi Arabia. They want answers. Turkey's getting ready to leave NATO for the BRICS bloc. They want answers. And Turkey is supposed to be one of the largest militaries in that NATO agreement. And they've been treating, and I tried to look for the video, but they've been treating Turkey so bad, right, from the West because they're a Muslim nation. They said, you know what, we're tired of this. So they're going to realign with what the BRICS bloc is doing. And if you look at that BRICS bloc, another 30 or 4 nations, they jumping on, try to get an application. Right? And what? The World Banks, the monetary funds, which are not ran by the people, right? They're ran by the elite, like a personal business, right? When you control the money, you control the people. So with that dropping of the petrodollar, right, and China selling off America's debt, the dollar's taking a dive. It's taking a dive slowly but surely, and it's not going to stop. That's what the real shocking of America was when they woke up on that Monday or Tuesday and Saudi Arabians decided, no, we're not taking the petrodollar. We're going to look at other currencies. We're going to start trading in other currencies. Right? Continue on.
Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea.
And that's what's happening right now around the world. America's lies, deceitful lies, hateful lies are being uncovered, okay, every single day. And these nations don't have any shame. The people don't have any shame. And Esau's telling on himself, like we're about to see in this video. Go ahead.
thy shame shall be seen. I, the Most High, will take vengeance.
And the Most High said that vengeance is his, right? So we're not talking about go get arms and do this. No, no. The Most High said vengeance is his. All right. This is out of the Bible we're reading. Go ahead.
I, the Most High, will take vengeance. I, the Most High, will not meet thee as a man.
And the Most High said he's not going to meet us as a man. He's going to meet us with his power. And whether you want to write it off as your own wisdom, how the Most High comes, that's your business. Right? But the Most High said he's not going to meet us as a man. He's going to meet us with the tempest of the storms, the earthquakes, right? The stirring up of the nations, right? Go ahead. Was it verse 3 you still in?
4, verse 4.
Okay, go ahead. Read
says,
4 from the top.
Yep, it says, out of Isaiah chapter 47, verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name.
So the Redeemer of Israel, the Holy One of Israel, the Most High of hosts is his name, right? So that's the Redeemer. Vengeance is the Most High's, and that's what we're going to watch take place at this point in time. So let's go ahead and let's roll the footage, right? And first and foremost, I also want to say, for the sake of this video on YouTube, these videos are only for educational purposes only, right? So we're not dealing with the copyrights and none of that, but and you can just go to the tops of the tabs. Yeah, just go to the tops and you'll bring up, or I guess how you share the screen, and you can play those videos. Okay.
You want the Russia one first?
I want, what's the first one in the tab? What does it say? Yeah, okay, yep. So put that one up there first. All right, and before you play that, these are the people who are deciding who goes to war when we go to war. Because if you know anything about American government, first and foremost, you got the House, you got the Senate, and then you have the president. So before bills are signed, between the House and between the Senate, they go back and forth in terms of, what they want in that bill, who's affected by what in that bill. The House has their own, and then the Senate has their version of it, and then it eventually gets worked out between the two, and it goes up to be signed by the president. Now, the president can veto that bill, right? That's why no one person or group has ultimate power in the United States, quote unquote. But that doesn't stop this deception, right? Play that first video if you would, please, Baba Kusha. Right? So this is Senator Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. All right? And look what he says.
Overnight, Russian warships and a nuclear-powered submarine arrived in Cuba, 90 miles from Florida's coast. Someone called John F. Kennedy and seek his wisdom, if you can find him. Meanwhile, Senator Lindsey Graham this weekend finally told the truth and admitted the real reason we are sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and training and weapons. Listen.
Either we're going to help Ukraine or we're not. It's now time to give them the F-16s, let them fly the planes, long-range artillery to hit targets inside of Russia. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country.
So listen to him. He said they're sitting on trillions of dollars of resources. So they said it was about the people. It was about freedom. It was about democracy. They don't care about democracy. They care about resources, right? So like I said, that most nations, they want independence, they want sovereignty, right? And they want territory, okay? 3 important things. So they're not, and this is the senator, right? Because remember, the message always was, we're over there for sovereignty and for the people. Run that back and listen to what he says. He said they're sitting on trillions of dollars of resources. So we're going to send billions of dollars over there because we want to be in control of the resources. When most of those people got wiped out who went to war over there, it was about resources. Okay? Go ahead and I'll let them speak. I'll let them go through it again. So start that from the top, Baba Kusha.
Russian warships and a nuclear-powered submarine arrived in Cuba, 90 miles from Florida's coast. Someone called John F. Kennedy and seek his wisdom, if you can find him. Meanwhile, Senator Lindsey Graham this weekend finally told the truth and admitted the real reason we are sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and training and weapons. Listen.
Either we're going to help Ukraine or we're not. It's now time to give them the F-16s, let them fly the planes, long-range artillery to hit targets inside of Russia. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That $10 to $12 trillion of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal how Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war. But they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin $10 or $12 trillion of critical minerals that he will share with China is ridiculous.
So, of course, it's not about the Ukrainian people at all. It never was about the Ukrainian people. It's about $10 trillion of resources. We don't care about the Ukrainians. It's about the minerals. It's about the resources that we plan to plunder and steal from them, of course. And Russia is getting in the way to our strategic plans there. So why are they playing with potential nuclear war over minerals and resources? Our next guest is holding a special emergency press conference this week in Washington, D.C. It's called The Danger.
And there you have it. This is a governor, Lindsey Graham, right? It's not about the people. It's about trillions of dollars of resources that they don't want to share with China. They usually don't talk like that. They usually give you that, oh, it's about the people and sovereignty. But he was like, listen, and if you listen to Lindsey Graham, he's fed up and he wants to go to war tomorrow if it was up to him. We would be at war tomorrow. He said, give them the F-16s and let's go because we want to make sure China doesn't get these resources. And this is why Russia is making their partnerships with China, also with North Korea. This is how it's shaping up. It's about resources, sovereignty, okay, and territory. Let's get politics, the geopolitics. That's what it's about. Let's get Psalms 137.
In the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse. So 1?
Yeah, take it from the top. From the top.
In the book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion.
And this is a popular scripture and a popular psalm, right, about our people, right? Because we weep and we remember Zion, right? Go ahead.
We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song.
Right, and they required so much of us. They still require so much of us, and they want you to be happy about it, right? You have to be happy in your oppression, right? Go ahead.
And they that waste us required of us mirth.
And they want you to be happy in your condition, because you can't get to your desired destination of heaven if you continue to keep going through this hell that you're on. And they want you to be happy on the bottom, right? Look at the day-to-day situations, the taxation, right? The way the world is going, the filth of everything, right? Go ahead.
Saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
And that's one thing about the other nations, and that's for a fact. They love to hear Jake sing. They've always loved to hear Jake sing in the choirs or put the kids together and let them sing, right? They always required of us literally a song, right? Read on.
How shall we sing the Lord Yahweh's song in a strange land?
So how are we really going to rejoice over here in a strange land, right? Like with all spirit and all truth and happiness and mirth and real mirth, right? Not going to happen over here. Go ahead.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning.
And that's why we forgot to learn war, right? We don't know war. We don't know how to be a nation anymore, right? Down here singing. We're supposed to sing in mirth, right? Go ahead.
For I, the Most High, do not remember thee. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy.
Right, and that was our chief joy at one point in time, but we forgot that. And this is why Jake is trying to continue to, our people are trying to vote their way out. They're looking towards the election. They keep trying to vote for Biden or oh, we'll take Trump because he's the lesser of the two, or whatever the case is, but you're not going to change your situation by continuing to vote. And then they ask us, well, what are you doing? Right? Well, we're praising the Most High to the best of our ability and truth and sincerity, because when it comes down to pipeline, it's going to come down to pipeline. Right? And that's what a lot of our people say, well, what are you doing? What have you built? Right? We're waking our people up. That's our job. Because Jake think they're going to do it on their own and with their own might. That hasn't happened yet. Right? You can't even get reparations. Right? And they sending billions of dollars to Ukraine in your face because they want the $1 trillion of resources. What happened to you here doesn't matter to them. Okay? Move on. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get over it. Right? And continue to be on the bottom. That's their answer to you. Read on.
Verse 7, remember, O Lord Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem.
And the Most High has not forgotten, right? The Most High keeps inventory, okay? Right? The Most High keeps inventory. We all know that. Go ahead.
Who said, raise it, raise it.
What they say?
Raise it, raise it. Oh, excuse me, yeah. Rise it.
Raise it, raise it.
I said I was right then, yeah. Raise it, raise it. Even to the foundation thereof.
Tear it up. Tear it down to the ground, right? And it pleasures them like nothing else to tear you down as a nation to the ground, also the physical place that they tore down to the ground when they tore up the temples, right? In the various captivities. They tore up everything. And they did so happily and gladly, right? And had your behind up in a captivity because we didn't want to drop the wickedness of the other nations. We wanted to be like the other nations, right? And the Most High set us apart, and we were supposed to be that wise and understanding people. And this is why everybody in the world is fighting over some kind of territory or something. But if Israel was in rulership and righteousness, all the resources will be in order. Everything will be in order. Because once Israel under Yahweh Hashem Yahushai gets in order, the world's going to be in order. That's right. And a lot of our people don't want rulership. They want to continue to be on the bottom and try to vote and try to get instead up behind or stand in front of a government trying to get resources for what they did, homeborn slaves. All right? Israel's not going to be a homeborn slave for another 600 years while the world tears itself up. So you better get in order. We better get in order. All right? Go ahead.
Even to the foundation thereof.
Even to the foundation. Tear up everything. Tear it down to the ground, because we are going to rebuild. Go ahead.
O daughter of Babylon.
O daughter of Babylon.
Who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
So there's going to be a recompense and a reward for all that has happened to the nation of Israel. You just got to sit tight, stay prayed up, and continue to follow the Most High. Because our people are in so much derision, they're trying to do everything else to get out of this situation or get a little bit of breathing room, and it's not working. Right? You got all these groups, every group that the so-called black man has had, the NAACP is all ran by Amalek. Right? They didn't help you. Right? That was supposed to be your help. Didn't help you. They didn't help you. They took your resources. Right? They're always taken. And don't give or leave. They'll pick you clean. Even the great gleaners is going to leave a little bit for the poor. But these people just take. And the Most High has not forgot. And that's why that they're going to have a stiff penalty and judgment. And we see what's happening in this earth. Okay? Go ahead. Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay. That was verse 9, right?
That, though. Very
okay.
important. I can read it?
No, read the last one. Read 9.
Verse 9. Happy shall he be that take it and dash it, thy little ones against the stone.
The Most High said he's a man of war, and we'll leave that at that right there. Okay? Hold your question. Let's roll that second video, Baba Bashar. All right? Again, these videos are for educational purposes only. No copyright infringement. We're not taking videos or nothing like that. We're just doing this for educational purposes only, YouTube. Okay? And this is a particular, and one thing No, that's the, go back to the second one. That's not the one I want. Go to the right. That's the one I want right there, all right? And it started at 5:11. Let me say this first. And one thing that I like to watch personally, and I recommend everybody who's seeking information, if you want to know how things are playing out in the earth, watch the preppers. They don't have the spirituality, but they know what is coming. They are the people who don't have the spirit, but they see what's coming down the pipeline in their great America. Watch these preppers. They are the physical manifestation of how they feel in America and in this earth current day. So when we read these scriptures, I go to watch some of the prepper channels and see how he feels about what happened with this, how he feels about what happened with that. They are terrified. They are terrified. And one thing that just happened Monday, everybody knows that it was in the news, it's just now getting into mainstream news. It's the so-called draft, right? Now, let me say this first, because there's people who are going to say, well, there's always been a draft. You always had to register for selective services, right? Or no, you always had to register for selective services, or you always had that process. That's true, right? You always had, as a man in America, you had to register for selective services. You had to. And what happened was, is you went down to the DMV when you got your IV, or not your IV, but your ID, you turned 18, you became an adult, you had to also register for selective services. There's nothing you can do about it, right? I remember I had to do it, right? It was a physical sign up that you had to do. You take your fingerprint, you sign some papers or something like that. You're registered now. If America goes to war, they can call down on you. Okay, yeah, here you go. We got your address. We know what you're doing. So what the government has decided to do, again, through the House and through the Senate, they both have their different versions of what this new draft bill looks like. Okay, and then the president can decide whether he wants to sign off on this as a bill or not. And what that means is, I think it's the Senate. I think it's the Senate that their bill is saying, okay, we're not going to have individuals between the ages of 18 and 27 decide that they want to elect into the U.S. military draft. We're going to sign them up anyway. And what they're saying it eliminates is the people who are saying they're not, right? The people who don't have identification at all. So they're automatically signing up. That they're taking out the legwork of making you go down and do it. They're going to do it for you now, right? Because they have all your digital information. They know who you are according to your social security number. They know how old you are, where you live, where have you lived, all this data on you. So you don't have to make the decision anymore. So all the block of thousands of people who don't have IDs, they're not going to sign up. They've been moving around the system beautifully, right? Undocumented. No, they got all your information now. So they're going to sign you up. They don't have to take you to court and threaten to make it a felony anymore, right? They're going to sign you up. And also, they're deciding, they're trying to decide, I think in one side of the government's bill, if women should also be included in that draft. Okay? They're deciding if women should also be a part of that. Go ahead.
And they said they passed it.
Oh, they passed it.
Women are
Okay.
in that bill.
All right. So it's passed now. There you have it. Women are also eligible for the U.S. military draft and will have to serve in the war in any event of a wartime event. So everybody's eligible now. Okay? So we have to stay prayed up and we have to understand what's going on around us. Play that next video, Babu Shah. Excuse me.
Strategic target. It's very survivable. Okay, so don't let all the hype kid you of that. If all this stuff happens, or even if it doesn't even have to be nuclear war. You know, I've been talking about it in the last couple of days of how there's been predictions that World War III, hot, active, kinetic World War III, will start before 3 or 4 months away. Between that time now and 3 to 4 months. Not very much longer. If that kind of stuff happens, if we get to that level, you're going to start seeing a draft. It's going to happen. I mentioned this the other day, and I've said it before. Germany's already reinstated their draft, and you are going to see the United States do the same. They've been complaining for the last few years they don't have enough troops. They don't have enough. And there's been all kinds of studies that America could not handle a two-front war. Well, if we're sending stuff to Ukraine, if we're sending stuff to Israel, if we're sending stuff to Taiwan, and then we go to war with Russia, and then probably with China, and then all of the potential terrorist attacks and things that would happen here in the United States when all that happens, yeah, we're gonna be pretty thin out, and so you need to be preparing for these types of things. You know, for those of you that are beyond draft age, you're probably thinking, oh well, I'm whatever. But there's a lot of young people out there, you that are watching, and a lot of you have young people that are living in your home, your children, and you're concerned with that. And it's crazy because at one time, folks like you and I were considered the most patriotic. We were the ones that, you know, when there was a need for troops for war, we were the first ones to go sign up. And I think we're still patriotic, but I think our patriotism has changed. And while I'm not saying to support signing up or not, but I'd say most of you have gotten to the point. In fact, I cannot think, I know a lot of vets, you know. Remember, I live in the county that I live in has, I believe, from what we've read, the highest concentration of veterans, military veterans, in any county in the United States. I work around vets all the time. I don't know of a single vet right now that would support their children joining the military. None whatsoever. That's a drastic change in America. It used to be very tradition. You know, you served in the military, then your son serves, and then his son, and there's this tradition, right? I don't really know of any vet right now that would want their child being drafted or joining the military. That says a lot. I'm sure there are some that would, but I don't know of any. And between that, the possibility of nuclear war, I mean, it is a possibility. I know we've become so conditioned over the decades of the threat and then nothing happening, but we can't discount that. Russia has kind of changed and upgraded over the last few years their nuclear weapons policy that, and just recently, just a few days ago, Vladimir Putin reinstated that or restated it, that if Russia felt threatened, if they felt that there was some existential threat to them as a nation, as a people, then they would absolutely use nuclear weapons. No doubt about it. And when you put all this kind of stuff together, and I'm not the type to be the first one to say, oh yes, war is happening. Yes, you know, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that do that. And that's not me. I try to restrain it because I don't know, and I'm, you know, not really sure. But I'll tell you, I'm certainly getting to that point very quickly that I believe that World War III is really literally right around the corner. That it
right
absolutely is.
Right? So these are the people who have been to war. They are watching what's going on in their government. And he covers many different topics, you know, from the immigration topic and everything, but they're scared. There's videos where he downright breaks down and he is terrified because of what's happening. And I think it's one of the funniest things. It's the entertainment tonight. I love it. It is entertainment tonight. I laugh. I watch him. I'm like, yes. And they want the nation to be great again. And he talks about once this blows over and we're going to, no, this is it. They think they're going to rebuild. He talks, and he'll go into a phase where he's afraid, and he talks about what we got to do, and then he'll talk about how we're going to rebuild. And I'm like, little do you know, there's not going to be a rebuild, buddy. That is it, right? Let's get Isaiah 34 and verse 1, Babu Kusha. The water for that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 4.
34 and 1, Slakia.
Or 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. The indignation of the Lord Yahweh is up on all nations.
So the indignation of the Most High is coming upon all nations. Okay? And we know how the Most High is going to cleanse this earth in this second go round. Right? Go ahead.
And his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
And that's where they're headed to. All this talk of war and the rebuilding and we're going to rebuild. No. It's not going to be another 400 years because you know what happens if they were able to rebuild? You're going to be right back on the bottom of the boot.
That's right.
And they're going to keep you there. Probably double time. They'll probably say, you know what, since we won this, we're going to put you back into slavery. You need to rebuild this. Not together and move forward together. No, get out there and pick that cotton because it's all going to go back. Right? Do this, do that. This is the new government. And you're going to be back on the bottom of a boot. Go ahead.
Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood,
Read on.
and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
And we know what that is, right? That's the indignation of the Most High at the end of the day. Just to sum it up for you, it's the indignation of the Most High. Fire, brimstone, and his nuclear fire. Okay, go ahead.
And all their hosts shall fall down.
All the armies, all these great nations, and all the teaming up together and the making deals and side deals for those billions of dollars of resources, right? That's what it's about. It's about resources, it's about independence, and it's about sovereignty. Now, with that, get the definition, if you would, Baba Kusha, of sovereignty. Anybody can get it. Yeah, Dwada. Yeah, you can stay where you're at, Dwada. If someone would please, the definition of sovereignty. Okay? And remember, like I said back in Genesis, you've always had the nations clamoring for sovereignty or a piece of land. That's why when we went through all the lands to get back to Israel, some people let us pass, some people didn't let us pass. Right? Esau didn't let you pass. He didn't want you to pass it smoothly. Right? The definition of sovereignty, Baba Kusha. Anybody got it? Go ahead.
It's sovereignty is a political concept that refers to dominant power or supreme authority.
So sovereignty is dominant power, right? Or what?
Or supreme authority.
Or supreme authority, rulership, right? Now, if Israel would have did the right thing, we would have sovereignty, we would have independence, right? And we would have fair and true justice. But we decided to go the other way. So now the other nations are in their sovereignty, their dominance, their power, but it's all going to come to a head, right? Because if the grape gleaners would have left you something, you'd be happy, right? But they're taking everything, and it's going to cost them. They're going to tear themselves up and pull everybody down with them if the Most High didn't intervene, right? So nations want sovereignty, right, which is power and dominance, resources, independence of a government, your own government, right, rulership and territory. And usually the people and nations who have those things, they're pretty well off. Their people are well off, right? And the Most High said he's a man of war. And remember, the Most High said that he hasn't forgot what Edom has done, right? It's a blink of an eye situation. The Most High has not forgot what Edom has done, right? Read on.
And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Read on.
For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Pardon me. Behold, it shall come down up on Idumea.
So the Most High has not forgot what Idumea has did in this earth in their dispensation of rulership, right? And we know this, we go over these scriptures all the time, but you can start, you're seeing it physically manifest as people talk about the wars, the rumors of wars, the draft, why they're really over in different places to protect, so-called, right? It's about the resources. It's about that dominance and control. Go ahead.
And up on the people of my curse to judgment.
So that curse is going to obviously flip back to those other nations. And you're starting to see that now. This is the day and time that we're in that the curses are starting to work themselves back around. Go ahead.
The sword of the Lord Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Basra.
And where?
And a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
So he's always talking about the people that he has not forgotten about, right? We forget things. We watch things come and go. The injustices on our people, right? The slaps in the faces, the caucasity and audacity that happens to our people on a day-to-day basis on every level here, right? Go ahead, but the Most High said he has not forgot. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of the recompenses.
Of the recompenses.
The recompenses.
Right? The turning back, the payback. Go ahead.
For the controversy of
For
Zion.
all the controversy that you put my little ones through, the 12 tribes of Israel. How come the pastors don't read this? Right? This is the Bible, right? How come they don't bring this out in the church? Huh? They won't get any money. They're going to lose that parking spot up front if they start talking like this or bringing out the scriptures. Right? Lose that house. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch.
It's going to be a wasteland. Right? And the Most High has specific places that are going to be a wasteland in this earth. Right? Go ahead.
It shall not be quenched night nor day.
And it's going to be left for a memorial, right? Just like Sodom and Gomorrah was left for a memorial. If you go over there today in that land, and brothers have been there, there's nothing there. You can smell the sulfur. They can pick up the sulfur balls and light them on fire. Why is that? They still got a lot of signs left over there. They got sulfur, the sulfur balls you can literally light on fire. It's still there. Go ahead.
The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever.
And it is the water. And it's the Most High's desire that there's going to be some places and nations where there's not going to be nobody passing through anymore. You're not going to be able to take a plane over to these regions after his indignation is poured out. And we're seeing the gathering storm right now. Go ahead.
But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it.
Which is a type of bird, right? The birds and the fowls of the earth. So the cormorant and the bittern, which are birds, the fowls, right, shall possess it. The owl, read on.
The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it.
All the meteors, right? Go ahead.
And he shall stretch out up on it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there.
So when they think they're going to rebuild and we're going to reestablish our government, there'll be nobody to call. And a lot of these preppers, they're going to hunker down, they think, right? and then they're going to come out after the worst of the worst and going to rebuild America. That's their thing. Nah. There's going to be nobody on their Noble line to check in with, right? Raise it.
You know,
Go ahead.
all their visions is like when they go rebuild, oh, the niggas gotta go back
Mm-hmm.
in the bottom. They have no
Absolutely.
plans to release us or anything.
Right. There's no plan for you unless you're on the bottom rebuilding.
Right.
That's how they're going to try to fashion that again. But that's not what's in the Most High's plans, right? Because, and there's other videos where George Soros, who's what does he do again? George Soros, he's one of those elite Edomites, and they was talking 20 years ago what they wanted for the plan of America, the falling of America, the dropping of the dollar, and then to bring out the MOTB, right? They think they're trying to set China up next as the example. But China doesn't have next. China's got a world awakening. Israel has next, right? Israel's got next. So they're going to continue on with their plans, right? And they're going to these G7 summits and G6 summits now, right? They're planning all of this as we speak. They think their setup is moving towards what they want the world to be, right? It's not going to happen like that. Read on.
Oh, you say, verse 12 said, they shall call the noble. I'm reading it again. Said,
Yeah,
they
read
shall
it.
call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing.
So their rulership is going to be nothing. Lindsey Graham is not going to be anywhere. You can't call Lindsey Graham to help rebuild. Right? Call Trump. Let's call Biden to see what we can do and rebuild this nation. Right?
Call Tim Scott.
Yeah, Tim Scott. Yeah. There's going to be nobody to call. And you're not going to rebuild America because there's not going to be anything here to rebuild. Right? Jeremiah 50 and 9, and we're going to get to the next video. And I'm almost done. I'm going to close out. Jeremiah 50 and 9.
50 and 9. Now the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and verse 9. For lo, I the Most High will raise and cause to come up against Babylon as assembly of great nations.
So the Most High is stirring this pot, right? He said he's going to bring up against Babylon an assembly of nations. An assembly of nations, right? The nations are mad. The nations are angry and are not afraid of America anymore. And America spends trillions of dollars on military. They spend the most in the world on military, right? So what if they what if they start dismantling the military and start putting that money back into the people, back into schools, back into roads and streets and housing and taking care of the people? They could do that. They have the money to recycle in this place at this point, right? Where we could have all the resources and everything you need here, but that's not the desire. You get too comfortable here, right? You get too comfortable. So everybody can be quote unquote great in this nation, but that's not the way they want it because you still have a political system that wants our people on the bottom because you have to be the one to rebuild this place for their luxuries, right? And they'll keep the resources. So it's about control of the resources. It's about sovereignty, and it's about independence, right? And Israel is seeking independence and sovereignty, right? But you're not going to get it over here. Read on.
From the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her.
So when you see Putin going down to North Korea, Putin in line with China, Turkey, which is a part of NATO, but they're getting ready to leave NATO, right, with one of the largest military to join the BRICS bloc. This never has happened ever since they established NATO in the 40s, right? Now these Most High is waking up these other nations saying, wait a minute, we got to start doing for ourselves now. And the line is being drawn in the sand on where everybody's going to fall, right? And they're going to go to war over it. Go ahead.
From thence she shall be taken The arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain.
So the Most High's arrows are not going to return once they start firing off arrows, right? They're not going to be returned. There's nothing you can say. There's not going to be any negotiating, right? The nations aren't going to be meeting with other nations to try to diffuse this thing. No, it's already a wrap. It's already done. And that's what we're at the doorstep of, as well as Jacob's trouble. There was another mass shooting in Arkansas, right, this past weekend, right? So it's not going to stop, okay? That third video, Baba Kusha. The wisdom is leaving Teman. This thing is spinning out of control. So all their wisdom, right? All the lies are being exposed. All the prophecies are starting to speed up and come to pass now. All their usury is being exposed. Yep, start that one from the top. This is our guy again. His fear, I love his fear. It's great. Red-blooded American. His fear is great.
Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. A little bit busy this evening, so I knew I couldn't make a live stream. So I thought I would go ahead and record this when I had the moment and upload it. So I would guess that many of you are already aware of this. This is not going to be breaking news for a lot of you, but in the last 24 hours or so online, it's become kind of a trending thing that the U.S. House of Representatives have passed a, it's part of the National Defense Authorization Act to change the selective service requirements. For those of you that are, I would hope everyone knows what this is, but I'll fill you in anyways. Selective service is what every man at the age of 18 needs to go and register for service. Doesn't mean that he's in service. He's registering for selective service, meaning that he could potentially be drafted if there was a war called upon. And it is a requirement. A lot of people are saying, well, this isn't anything big difference. Yes, it's always been a requirement. If you don't do that, if you're a man, if you don't do that between, I think it's 18 and 25 or 18 and 28 or whatever, it is considered a felony. Well, the U.S. House have amended that in the new Defense Authorization Act, and that you're not going to have to go and register. Every man is just automatically registered. You are automatically registered when you turn 18, period. Just a little side note, it's interesting that they have they know everyone. They know all the people that turn 18, right? They know when you turn 18, they have that much data on everyone so that you're now just automatically registered. That, to me, is a signal that they know that we're very likely getting ready for war. And they need to start preparing for it. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, if they're doing that now, then that must mean that they're not thinking war's going to be for another year or two. That's not how our government thinks. In fact, there was a book written a year or two ago, and I can't remember the author of the book's name, but he was former special operations in the military, and he actually said in the book that the United States military is very bad about that. They wait until things are and in the book he was talking about how there's such low recruitment in the military in the last few years. And anyways, he said that the military is really bad about waiting to the very last moment where things are imminently bad and then push for recruitment. It's, anyways. So now everyone is going to be, now of course this hasn't completely passed. It's only passed the House. It has to go to the Senate. But as of right now, it looks like it's probably going to pass. Because the Senate's version has added another thing. That there will be a requirement, it won't be automatic, but that there will be a requirement for women to register for selective service. Meaning that we could be drafting girls, 18-year-old girls. That's how bad it is, folks. I guess you could say that the feminists are getting the equality they've always wanted. Now they can be drafted for military service. How bad are things when that is something that they're out of nowhere? I mean, if things weren't bad, if things were okay, why would they decide to do that? I think this is just a sign, folks. Been talking about how close we are getting to war, how likely it is, how things are heating up, and then now we've got the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate changing basically the rules for being drafted to where every man is automatically part of selective service, and now women have to start registering for selective service. Yeah, that's where we're at. And news media is not really covering it. It's mostly just online. A lot of people probably aren't going to talk about it that aren't in the right circles. But what other reason would they be doing this? Now, it's interesting in the House version, it talks about illegals, and I could be wrong on this one. A friend of mine was talking to me about this last night, and I was looking at it, and I think that the automatic selective service, I think that does include illegals. I know it does have a clause there, but I think that's talking about like diplomatic people that are here on diplomatic visas and stuff that are immigrants. But the way it reads, I do believe that it is including illegals in the automatic selective service. Some theories out there already on this. Are they gonna get all the deplorables? That's the word I was looking for. The deplorables that are just not fitting and obeying well with all of this New World Order plans. Are they planning to send those off to fight the war, and then our military is replaced by all the illegals? I know that's a stretch, but I don't think it's too far off from being a possibility. It's time people need to wake up. It's time to wake up. This administration, this government, these leaders, they're hell-bent on getting us into a big war. It'd be the best thing for them, really, for their global plans, for their digital currency, for all of it. And they're going to do everything they can to get us into war, and I think it'll be before November. And you need to start getting ready for it. This is, you know, a few months ago, when I would make a video talking about this, I would have several people in the comments talking about how I'm way off on this, that we're not that close to war, that I'm just being dramatic. I'm seeing a lot less of those comments now. I'm seeing a lot of comments from people that realize that it's really that close.
All right, you can stop right there. And there you have it, right? And again, they have a little bit more information, right? These are the people who are the red-blooded Americans who have a little bit more information. They're terrified, but they don't know spiritually what's coming down the pipeline. So I love to watch them. They are a great sign of what's coming down. Like they can see it on the political front, not the spiritual front, right? I got one more video after this. Read Jeremiah 50:9 again. I'm gonna get ready to close up here.
Out of the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I, the Most High, will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain.
And with that, play that last video, and I got a few more scriptures, right? Last one there, and this is the one that this is the one you said, Ben. The one about the meeting of North Korea and Russia. And Russia and North Korea, they haven't been on the best of terms since like the Cold War, or the welcomeness of them relating to each other as nations with a common interest, right? So let's see what's going on that front, all right? Because things are happening around us to where America's terrified of these new relationships with these other countries, right? Openly and blatant, because again, the military budget is trillions of dollars. America has 40% of the world's military. That's almost half of the entire world's military budget comes out of the United States, right? So the rest of the world knows that America, they use weaponry, they saber rattle, right? America's bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The rest of the nations watched that, and they were afraid of that for a really long time. They're not afraid of that anymore. Russia has. Go ahead, Ben. Cut.
And the Japanese, one of his son, I think he was the prime minister, made a comment. He said, "We haven't forgotten that."
Oh.
He said, they want to attack America. They said,
Oh, okay.
we could drop 50 atomic hydro bombs in America. We would do it. So they said they haven't forgotten. They're waiting to get revenge too.
Right. There you go.
Just get playing low.
Right.
But all nations waiting to get revenge for what America did to them. They haven't
Right,
forgotten that.
Khan, and that's a beautiful point that Ben just brought up. So one of the offspring of the Japanese, right? He said we haven't forgot about what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So maybe they got their own political hand that they're playing, even though Japan is aligned with America. They still got their own agenda, right? They still want payback. They haven't forgot. That's not a hard thing to forget. For what happened to their people, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Go ahead.
Right, because when they dropped the bomb, it was not dropped on the military base.
Right.
It was dropped on the civilian
On civilian population.
And it was deliberately done to force them to resign.
Right.
When Hirohito,
Right.
he wasn't going to surrender, but when that happened, that forced him to surrender. And also, too, they said when they had that tsunami in Japan back in 2011. They said that was because Japan was testing nuclear weapons.
There you go. So there you go. That's more information, right? So Japan, they haven't forgot about, and they just playing it low. They haven't forgot about what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And like he said, they said if they could drop 50 of those hydrogen bombs on America, they would. So though they're in alliance with America right now, you don't know what other treaty that they're making on the side with China, right? Or again, like the scripture says, all the nations are going to hate the whore, right? So they got their own agenda. They're not a big nation, but they understand, right? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go to show you all these other nations, they don't forget what happened to them in the past.
Right.
The only people that want to forget is Israel.
Is this? Yeah, come.
They want to forget about that past.
Come. We're the only people who want to forget about everything.
Forgive and forget.
Sweep it under the rug. Forgive and forget. You know, go move forward and build together. Right? That's our thing. Build together. Right? And that's not going to happen. Go ahead.
Obviously,
Hold on.
the spirit is running parallel because that's exactly what I was about to say.
All praises. That's the spirit right there. So though the bulk of our people forget, the Most High hasn't forgotten. Again, vengeance is his. And we don't have any might in our hands right now but to pray and to turn back. So vengeance is the Most High. Japan, and like Ben said, that bomb, they didn't drop them on military bases. Truman didn't drop those bombs on military factions when they was at war with Japan. And Hiroshito, those people, they said they was the kamikazes. They wasn't going to stop. They kamikaze missions. They was fighting in that Pacific theater like a madman. He was the most formidable foe that they fought, right? So they had to make a decision. Okay, well, let's show them what we got. And when they dropped that, hold that thought. When they dropped that bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's what made them surrender because they saw how devastating it was on their people. And they've never seen anything like that at that point in time. So you're gonna surrender because now you're wiping out our civilian population, and we don't know what else you could do. So they were forced to surrender, right? And they did their military. They played their military game really good. Japan, they had a lot of the times they had the upper hand. They just didn't know it, right? But the way it played out, the Most High had it play out to where America, they pulled it together and made it happen. because it was supposed to.
Superpower.
It was that?
Become that superpower.
They had to become that superpower, right? Because they were supposed to. If you look at the way they were doing things, they were supposed to lose. America was supposed to lose in the Pacific. If Japan would have played it right, they were losing, and they didn't even know it. But the will and the way the Most High played it out, America had to become that superpower, right? And that was a good point. All right, what do we got? Let's go to the video, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. And this is what America is seeing happening with the other nations around them. So we got to pay attention to geopolitics. We have to, right? This is where it starts.
Right now, guys, the U.S. is afraid. They are actually afraid and have admitted as much. They're afraid of the alliance between Russia and North Korea and possible military strategies against them. Let's get into the story. Like I said in an earlier video, things are heating up fast. They are heating up fast, and hey, it is what it is. But the Associated Press is reporting that Russia and North Korea signed a partnership deal that appears to be the strongest since the Cold War. Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un signed an agreement Wednesday that pledges mutual aid if either country faces aggression, a strategic pact that comes as both face escalating standoffs with the West. Details on the deal were not immediately clear, but it could mark the strongest connection between Moscow and Pyongyang since the end of the Cold War.
Flat tires are my worst nightmare. Even
Just skip through the ad. Yep. No, continue on. Yeah, you can play it. It's just an ad. You
worse,
just skip
my
it to
car
the
doesn't
right.
have a
Yeah.
spare. It pays to be prepared.
There you go.
Both leaders described it as a major upgrade of their relations, covering security, trade, investment, cultural, and humanitarian ties. The summit carries as Putin visited North Korea for the first time in 24 years, and the U.S. and its allies expressed growing concerns over a possible arms arrangement in which Pyongyang provides Moscow with badly needed munitions for its war in Ukraine in exchange for economic assistance and technology transfers that could enhance the threat posed by Kim's nuclear weapons and missile program. So let me stop right there for a moment. Doesn't the U.S. have a nuclear program? Doesn't Israel have a nuclear program? Other nations have nuclear programs too, right? Okay, I thought so. So, just like Russian presidential leaders, and Russian military leaders also spoke. They said, why is it that America feels that they can do things and protect themselves, but nobody else can? It's really a trip that folk are starting to say this stuff out loud now, because America, they do act like can't nobody else have things, but they can, right? Oh my goodness. When you really sit back and think about this stuff, it's a real trip. Anyway, let me get back to the article. It says, from North Korea, Putin traveled to Vietnam, where he exited his plane onto a red carpet and briefly shook hands with dignitaries while soldiers in white dress uniforms stood at attention. In Hanoi, Putin is scheduled to meet with Vietnam's most powerful politician, Communist Party General Secretary Nhu Phuong Trong, and new President To Lam, as the Russian leader seeks to strengthen ties with a long-term partner. During Putin's visit to North Korea, Kim said the two countries had a fiery friendship. And that the deal was their strongest ever treaty. putting the relationship at the level of an alliance. He vowed full support for Russia's war in Ukraine. Putin called it a breakthrough document, reflecting shared desires to move relations to a higher level. What are we hearing here, y'all? What is this we are hearing? So, two nations that are said to be enemies of America are joining together in what they are calling their strongest treaty ever, with a breakthrough document. And they also call this a fiery friendship. What the heck is going on? Are you all seeing the pages jumping yet? Are you all seeing prophetic pages just leaping and leaping and leaping? Whoo! I hope y'all paying attention. North Korea and the former Soviet Union signed a treaty in 1961 that experts say necessitated Moscow's military intervention in the North came under attack. The deal was discarded after the collapse of the USSR, replaced by one in 2000 that offered weaker security assurances. It wasn't immediately clear if the new deal provides a similar level of protection as the 1961 treaty. Well, I would say so, because they are calling it a fiery friendship, the strongest ever treaty, and a breakthrough document. And I think they both know what's at stake too. The U.S. Not liking either of them. A lot of people are starting to say, look, we are tired of you strong arming and bullying and doing all this other stuff and threatening and sanctioning. So these other nations are starting to come together, which again brings me back to biblical prophecy. When I look at the book of Obadiah, it says those that were confederate with you are going to bruise you. Oh my goodness. Father, have mercy on us.
All right, you can stop that right there.
Anyway, it says Kim met Putin at the airport.
And that's just the gist of it. So you have these other nations who are coming together now, right? So, and that's another thing that is being overlooked. He's going to Vietnam to meet the president or the dignitaries of Vietnam. And Vietnam hasn't forgot what America did to them. All the bombings of those the jungles and everything, and that guerrilla warfare and all that. They haven't forgot either. Agent Orange, yeah. All the psyops that they did over there to those people, and again, on civilian populations, they haven't forgot. So Putin knows what he's doing. And not only that, I think also that these treaties are being formed and alliances are being made so he can also put nuclear weapons in these regions of North Korea, of Vietnam, right, in some parts of Europe, okay? And like the sister was saying in this video, that the USSR had a strong alliance and agreement with North Korea already, but it dissolved when the USSR broke up. But now he's going back down to reestablish that with them, right? So the pieces on the chessboard are moving, all right? And that was a good point too with Japan and Vietnam. These are places where America wreaked havoc, and they have not forgotten. So yeah, the nations are angry, all right? And they're being brought back to remembrance of what America the Great has done to them. And they're not afraid anymore. And the nuclear playing field is being evened out. Russia said, you know what? All these NATO, they want to line my border up, put nuclear weapons and send in F-15s. Okay, I'm gonna go to Cuba. I'm gonna have some discussions in Cuba, right? Subs probably still over there. I'm gonna go to North Korea. Probably move some subs in there, right? Go to Vietnam. Right? And align for their treaties to help in time of war, right? So they can make munitions and help fund these wars, just like America's doing for Ukraine. But again, it's over resources, and that's the state of where we're at in the world. You got something, Ben?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And you see, it started with Saudi Arabia. When Saudi Arabia ditched that petrodollar, it was like a domino effect, because And then the Most High said in Obadiah, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. So they that eat in America's money now saying, we'll get rid of you.
Right.
Then on top of that, what's coming next? It says, it tells you in Revelation 17, and the beast shall hate the whore. That's
Yep.
the other European nations.
Yep.
So they haven't come together yet, and that's the next step.
Yep.
We said they're going to hate the whore, which is NATO
Yep.
and the EU. They're going to turn against the whore.
Absolutely. That's
So
it.
America is in for a serious problem, man.
That's-
You see, when they came against us in slavery, and all of them were united against us. So now the Most High is flipping it now. Like he said in Deuteronomy, all the curses that came upon us, the Most High said, now I'm going to flip it upon your enemies
Right.
now. So
That's
they're
right.
going to receive the same thing that we receive.
That's right. And there it is. It's turning back. The curses are turning back, right? Because the Most High said he was going to put his curses upon our enemies back in Deuteronomy, right? So that's the time that we're in now. We're seeing that shape up. And that's just the state. And we got to pray and watch for these things, right? So this is the time right here, right? As it undevelops with the nations. And that's where it starts and it ends with the nations. So with this, let me get my last scriptures. It's like, oh, go ahead. What's your thought?
Now, I just want to say basically that people need to realize that when the Most High, first of all, he did this on purpose and deliberately, meaning sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. He said, be fruitful and multiply, right? But the people of the world today, which is his people, when a woman gives birth to a child, you're born into prison. You're born in your captivity.
Right.
They don't see it that way. We're born into sin, Romans 8, verse 10. So people need to really consider this right now is that, and then he gave man knowledge to make the television set. But part of your body, when he formed man from the dust of the ground, his spirit, he breathed the breath of man's nostrils, man became a living soul. All that goodness and stuff was in him, right? So now the thing is this, part of your body, your eyes. He created man to make the television set. Watch the movies. He gave man to watch a movie within the movie. We're already in the movie right now. And so now I'm ending on this.
Okay.
When you watch the movie 10 Commandments, he's not going to give you everything, right?
Right.
Slaves, what we talking about, right? When you see the slaves, they built everything. We built everything here. So
we know
now,
that.
when they speeding up, when a baby is born, they stick needles in you, birth certificate, Social Security, all that stuff is false. But they want you to fight for a wicked country called American Selective Service to fight for. This is not our land. I ended at that.
Right.
I can't wait till.
Right.
Yeah,
And that's
we all know.
and that's
it,
a great some nation.
Yes, sir. But they don't know.
Right. They don't know. You're right.
They don't
We'll end it
know.
on that. They don't know.
He's angry.
Right? The Most High is angry. This is why we see the state of the nation.
angry, you don't know.
And this is what the pastors and the preachers that are out there, they're not teaching this. Right? So it's not going to be a great, things are going to get worse before they get worse. Right? Things are going to get worse before they get worse. Get Ezekiel 25 and verse 12.
So what's that again?
Ezekiel 25 and verse 12. I got 3 more scriptures, and I'm going to end on that note. Right? And this is just, and again, this class, the prophecies is every week there's something new happening from week to week. It's speeding up now. Week to week. You can't help but to pay attention to these prophecies, and that's why we're covering them. Again, not to fearmonger or the warmonger, but just as what the scripture's saying, we have to be attentive of that. We have to make sure we're waking up. And like the prepper guy said, it's time to wake up. Right? And the nations are angry.
Wake up and smell
And the name of my class was The Wisdom is Leaving Teman. Right? And they're going to hate the whore. Go ahead, read Ezekiel 25 and 12.
Read the book of Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, Most High, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended.
Greatly offended. Beyond their bounds. Go ahead.
Have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, Father Yahweh, I will also stretch out my hand up on Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I, the Most High, will make it desolate from Teman.
And again, Teman was a person, also a place in Edom, Idumea, Basra, right? Go ahead.
And they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I, the Most High, will lay my vengeance upon Edom, by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger.
According to their own anger?
And according to mine anger.
According to the Most High's anger.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
And the Most High hasn't forgot. Go ahead.
And according to my fury. And then shall know, and they shall know my vengeance.
So it's going to be plain in that day whose vengeance it is. Right? It's the Most High's vengeance for his people Israel. Right? Go ahead. Read that last part.
Yep. And they shall know my vengeance, said the Lord Yahweh, Father Yahweh.
And that's thus saith the Most High Power. Thus saith the Lord. My name is Ainwa. That's my class. The wisdom is leaving Teman. Shalom.
Shalom.